Who Knew? We are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, and here we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights of the modern regeneration of the show. Today's episode is the 2005 Christmas special, aptly titled The Christmas Invasion, where the Sycorax arrive to enslave the Earth while the Doctor sleeps off his latest regeneration. This episode is considered like a special and not exactly part of the British version of Season 2 or Series 2, but it is located on the Season 2 DVD.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S., yes.
I don't know about the U.K.
Yeah, it's an odd episode in that it does...
Yeah, but if you're looking for it in the United States, it's the first episode on Season 2.
And it's also like that on Amazon Prime and Netflix, I believe.
I think you're right.
Were. And Hulu.
Formerly Netflix.
And formerly Hulu. Okay, this Christmas Invasion was written by Russell T. Davies, directed by James Hawes, and originally aired on the 25th of December 2005. And it had an overnight ratings of 9.8 million viewers. So let's introduce ourselves to see who joined us for the Christmas Invasion.
Hello, it's Frank.
Hi, this is Brian.
Hey, this is Auburn.
This here's Josh.
Arlene.
And this is Eugene. All right, back into it. Jackie is preparing for Christmas when she hears the whoosh of the TARDIS. As she runs outside, she meets Mickey, who has also heard that distinctive sound. The TARDIS practically crashes nearby, and the newly regenerated Doctor steps out, greets them by name, and collapses to the ground. Rose exits the TARDIS, and Mickey asks, "Where's the Doctor?" She tells them, "That's the Doctor." Jackie asks, "What do you mean, that's the Doctor? Doctor who?"
Yeah, I love how they got the name in there.
It's always a kick.
I mean, every incarnation or regeneration, a new version of the Doctor has to find some way to put that in, and it's just interesting to find where that fits.
Yeah, sometimes it works better than others.
This one, I think there's a little too long of a pause. I don't know if anybody felt it was too pregnant.
Yeah. I think it was shoehorned in just a little bit too much.
I mean, it was definitely telegraphed saying, hey, this is where we're going with this. You knew it was coming.
Kelsey wanted me to mention for a while she had that TARDIS whoosh as her ringtone. And so she felt like this scene was played out a lot of times when we were at home and her phone would start ringing and we wouldn't know where it was. So we had to go running looking for it.
So that was you and Kelsey were Mickey and Jackie. Like,
yes,
where's the TARDIS? Where's the TARDIS?
Did you tell her to shut up a minute? Like,
No, I don't think I did that.
they're awfully quick to tell each other to shut up throughout the whole series.
It's the British bluntness.
I guess.
It is kind of interesting to be reminded right away how lonely Jackie is.
Yeah, I mean, she's looking at that Christmas gift from Rose. I'm like, oh, we're already sad.
And when she hears the whoosh, she says, Rose.
Yeah.
All of us and most people would think it's the Doctor.
Right.
We have to remember the last time she saw Rose, it was in a very horrible situation where Rose is trying to get into the TARDIS and she's like, I'm going to help you even though I don't want you to go anywhere. So...
And that's right. That's with the forklift and all that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And we don't know what time of year that took place in. And that's kind of interesting.
Do we know?
With the flick of a switch, the Doctor says in the Children in Need special, Christmas Eve. Well, that could be 10 months. So Jackie could have been sitting around for 10 months.
Right.
Waiting. And the Doctor doesn't even consider that. He just thinks, Christmas. And he flicks the switch. And so he doesn't go back to soon after to ease their worry. He doesn't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I did like about Children's in Need. That's that little bit that they added. Because at the end of the last episode, it was, oh yeah, where are we going? Barcelona. And then in the Children in Need, he says, okay, Rose isn't handling this well. Let's go back to something that's familiar. Even though he's not going through the regeneration properly. But he's like, no, we'll go back Christmas and already plan for this.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching it without the Christmas in Need, they just show up. And it's like, well, why are they here? What's going on? It just sort of seemed
what happened to Barcelona.
Yeah. Right.
And to me, that's how I watched it, and I was totally fine. And
me too.
And I'm okay with it because something new just happened, so the chaos is
Well,
there.
yeah, I did not sit there going, what really did happen with Barcelona? Pause this. Let's watch. No, it's just after seeing it.
Well,
going,
no.
Oh, that makes a little more sense. It gave a little more information that I
Yes,
liked.
I agree with you.
Literally, the next line after Barcelona was Rose saying, "No, you take me home on Christmas Eve." Boom.
Well, I'm glad
Simply
you like your own
retconned.
little rendition of things.
I do.
I enjoy that too. Yeah. And when she speaks, she's listened to. So
I like the opening shot, which they had in Eccleston's first episode as well.
Yeah,
of the moon and then
yeah.
panning down to Earth, and that's one that the motif that will run through the whole series. I just like that shot.
I also like the way the TARDIS spins out of control as it hits the apartment buildings. And then there's that one shot that goes overhead of Jackie and Mickey where it's the practical TARDIS and not a CG one. So the spinning, like, it kind of just, oh, there it is, over their head. It's really dangerous, and the way it hits things. I don't know. I really like that.
This whole episode, I think, had a lot more production value than usual.
It's a Christmas
felt
special,
good,
so I
yeah.
think they threw some money at it.
Yeah. Well, and they're also introducing David Tennant.
Yeah.
You know, this was a risk.
But how well known was he at that point?
Not very. I don't think he
Did
was.
he do Harry Potter at this point?
Yeah. I think it was around this time that Harry Potter happened. So
Which Harry Potter?
Goblet of Fire.
Thank you.
Barty Crouch Jr.
And then did he do Casanova or something?
Yeah, Casanova he had done before this.
Yeah.
And he did Casanova with Russell. And so
That's
that
how
might be how
that relationship formed.
started.
Yeah.
And he's just swimming in Eccleston's jacket. Sorry, jumping a whole different.
I know, but
when he
seeing
comes
him,
out of there, just,
Yeah.
you can talk about it.
seeing Tennant as the U-boat captain.
It doesn't quite fit.
Big.
Yeah.
But speaking of Kelsey, she could not be with us today. Where is she?
Oh, she's on a plane right now to Paris and then to Amsterdam and then Giesbeek in Holland for all of our international viewers, listeners.
Well, we wish her safe travels.
And if those are your priorities,
well, she is missed, but we do
Yes.
wish her well in her travels.
okay, to continue. They place the unconscious doctor in Rose's bed and leave the room, not noticing that the doctor is exhaling time-space energy. Rose explains that something is wrong with the doctor's regeneration and that she is having a difficult time processing it all. She notices Harriet Jones on television. Harriet, now the Prime Minister, is giving a press conference about Britain's new space probe Guinevere 1, which is on its way to Mars. Meanwhile, in space, we see the probe being taken aboard a spacecraft. So there's a lot that goes on at this point.
Yeah, this is the first time we're seeing Harriet Jones after World War III. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Right.
Yes. So that's great that she's risen the ranks as predicted by Eccleston in that
Yeah,
episode.
and Jackie even mentions, they're calling it Britain's Golden Age.
Yeah, so that happened, and we didn't really get to see it. I was hoping we would see it by that one mention, but then this is all we get.
But Jackie is getting more money a week.
18 something?
18 quid. Which is a pound. A quid is a pound.
And we found out that Jackie's life has installed while Rose is away.
Right.
Because she now has a boyfriend, Howard.
Howard.
Who works at the market.
Who
At
is-
least a month they've been together, so Rose has been gone for at least a
Who's
month.
also the same size as the doctor, apparently. Because
Yeah, so now he's wearing Howard's pajamas.
Yes.
And I want to know who changed the doctor from the U-boat captain into the pajamas. Because was it Rose? Because that's...
I think it was Rose because Jackie asked what else he had two of.
Oh, that's good.
two of, what else he had two of?
That's very good. Because I was going to say it's Jackie because... But you're right. She's...
It's like,
Or was it Mickey being the
I'm sure it was
gentleman?
Rose.
I think...
Talk about that a little bit there with when she listened to both of his hearts.
She listened to both of his hearts.
No, what do you want
That
to
was
say?
a funny little part that, Jackie
Yeah,
just
it
says, don't be stupid. You can't have two hearts.
You can't have two hearts, yeah. But it is, yeah. And Jackie's also resourceful again, where she knew a friend who,
Had a stethoscope.
and she just went and took it.
Well, maybe Howard appeared really quick and changed Tennant out and then left.
Yeah, that happened. Here, wear my pajamas.
I don't think that's really a big plot point that we need to work on.
I do want to know why pajamas was spelled differently in the subtitles, though.
That's how they spell it in Britain.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I don't. It's P-Y. Why would you put a Y?
Well, yeah.
Why would you put a Y in that?
Yeah.
Pajamas.
Usually I could understand like theater and R-E and E-R, but that's not how you spell pajamas.
Yeah, no, that's not at all how you spell pajamas.
No, the other one with the actually listening to his hearts. I'm like, really, Rose, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
One stopped. And
But it's
And it was very
to her.
clear.
It's like, okay, there's clear heartbeats on both sides, and
It's also reassuring us that he's okay.
Yes.
All right? Yeah, come on.
And it allows us later to know
Right.
that
Yeah.
he's
Well, it's a
not
bit-
doing as good when one of them isn't going.
Right. Well, it's also a bit of sci-fi stuff that they throw in. It's story point for people, like for a new Who viewer,
Right.
who doesn't know about that. It's like whenever
Absolutely.
they always try to mention he's got two hearts or this or that.
Like he's
otherwise-
alien. He's not.
Yeah.
He looks human, but he's not. Yeah.
It's sprinkling that character point through the episode.
It was just almost as ridiculous as in The Little Mermaid when Scuttles like picks up her foot and puts it by his ear. And he's like, oh, he's checking her heartbeat. No, so that's how ridiculous I felt that was.
So you're saying Rose is.
I like
is
that
Buddy
part a
Hackett?
little more.
Yes.
I thought another just convenience of this was the energy, the time-space energy coming from the Doctor, then traveling through the building all the way into space. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, it needed somehow to get
Right. For them to know.
notice.
Well, at least that's.
But it's just sort of like,
But wait,
it
I'm
just goes, and then all of a sudden it's out in space. It just sort of travels.
Yeah, so I'm
it
not
was really
exactly
quick.
clear about that either. Like, so what is it about that they sense to come to this planet?
it's energy. It's a really potent energy source.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. So they're really looking for him.
No,
I mean,
they're not
remember,
looking.
they always suggest
Well, we'll
that
get to
the
that.
They're not looking
doctor,
for-
Okay.
but they always suggest that the doctor
not.
in general, just like is very different and powerful, and
So they found an
you know.
energy source. It's coming from this planet,
yeah,
even though it was
and
the
they tracked
size
it to the doctor.
the size of a sock.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, to me, it's like I don't.
Well,
even,
it is, time space, so it's probably bigger on the inside of that.
That's a good point.
I mean, to me, I think that didn't even need to be there at all. They could have just had.
They could have just said that.
They could have
Well,
just
it's
had
a
the pilot
visual
fish show
cue.
up.
It's better,
Yeah,
better-
but it's visual. Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I don't think that's why. Well, we're jumping ahead, but I don't think that's why the Sycorax were coming.
No.
Oh,
no, the Sycorax are completely independent of
So
it.
the Sycorax are they for those of us who haven't kept up.
We'll get to it. We'll cover it a little bit later. We'll find
right.
out.
We'll get to it. All right.
We'll go back to this.
Mickey and Rose go Christmas shopping, and Rose notices that they're being followed by a brass band of masked Santas. Suddenly, the Santas open fire on them. They rush back to Jackie's, where Rose notices a new Christmas tree in the apartment. Previously, it was a white Christmas tree, and now it's a green Christmas tree. Jackie says it has been delivered,
Excuse
and
me.
she
It
thought...
was an ugly white Christmas tree. Sorry for those who like that kind, but no, I'm for the green
Get
and
better
real
taste.
trees.
So Jackie says it has been delivered, and she thought that Rose had ordered it. The tree begins to spin so rapidly, it begins to destroy everything in its path.
So were those Santa's Sycorax, or were they just like
They were-
clockwork?
They were sent by the Sycorax.
They were pilot fish.
no.
What do you mean, no?
Later on, the doctor calls them pilot fish.
Right.
And
They're
then
independent.
Mickey looks that up on the internet.
Right.
And it's a smaller life form that follows something bigger.
Almost
And
like a
eats-
parasite.
Oh, so they're
And eats
just.
their leftover type of thing.
But they got there first.
Yes.
Yes.
Because they're swimming around the
They're
Sycorax.
around
so
the
they're always around
Sycorax.
Sycorax to pick up the extra that is dropped, like a dog eating out the floor or something like that.
All right.
So
I thought
they're
they
there for
were
the extra
like-
energy, and they've sensed the doctor's energy.
I
And
got
says,
you.
There's a food source that we're going to go for.
But the Sycorax don't. And this is kind of jumping ahead, but the Sycorax don't know that there's any alien technology on Earth. Mm-hmm. So they don't know about the energy. But the pilot fish do. The Sycorax are just coming to Earth because they want to enslave Earth.
Okay.
Sycorax don't know anything about time lords.
Oh. Okay.
And I think that also
I can actually see the light as I go on.
that clarifies for me too why the
Yeah.
Sycorax weren't more Christmas decorated.
Themed.
Right.
Yes.
Those were creepy.
Oh, I loved it.
I love it too.
Oh, I love nothing more than a killer brass band.
I like the design that was like the
Yeah.
the linear design
There's
that was
so-
on them.
It's like rivets and plates. It's
It
cool.
is-
It's
It's
an
creepy.
old-fashioned toy.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
that you
old-fashioned
have
toy.
in the 1800s.
And I wanted to, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so ugly.
But that's why it
But
works.
there's so much ugly Christmas stuff that it's like it would make sense. I could see those things selling like crazy on QVC.
I'm surprised we don't have a toy of those. Underground
really.
toys. You want to look into that?
Get right on that.
Before we move on, I also want to say there's like some throwaway dialogue when they're out Christmas shopping.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's saying, oh, it's always the doctor this, the TARDIS that. And she's like, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not. And they reach that moment right before they're fired upon where it's like, okay, we're just going to talk. And Mickey starts to say how close he and Jackie have gotten. Now that, while Rose is away, they know she's safe. They know what's happening. Mickey frequently goes over and has dinner over.
He's
Jackie's
like over there every weekend or something.
Yes,
Something like that.
And I love that. That's a great character development moment. Humanizes both the characters, and is very realistic. If you had this secret that you couldn't tell anybody else, you would bond together.
Right.
And it's a throwaway line. Sometimes you don't even hear it because you're distracted because you're supposed to be wondering what Rose is looking at.
It's all the plot.
Because, you see the big, ugly Santas, and you're thinking, well, that's an ugly Santa, rather than thinking to what Mickey's
Right, yeah, I don't even recall.
And it's Mickey, so you don't pay that much attention to it.
What I didn't like... Oh, go ahead. What I did not like about Mickey in that scene was, I get that he's jealous of the doctor and she's actually being quite neglectful of him as a friend or a girlfriend or whatever, but the fact that he's being totally insensitive to that, the person that she's basically spending her life with right now could possibly be dying. And he's just like, come on, let's just have a day out. Bugged me.
Yeah, I can see that. But he's also really tired of it.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, there needed...
It's plot-wise.
The doctor's resting, but I guess he's doing okay, and that's why the 2 heartbeats, I think, is important, because she does feel like he's doing okay and just needs time, not really knowing anything else that's going on. And so it's like, okay, oh my gosh, it is Christmas. I should get something for my mom. She hasn't seen me in how long. So that I can understand.
Oh,
and I think the 2 heartbeats is he just needs rest. I don't know. I don't even know who this guy is, because he's not my doctor.
Right.
It just changed. It's like, well, I don't know what's going on.
So now that she heard that both his hearts were beating, she was able to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Right, just to try and process it. And it's like, okay, do Christmas shopping with it. It's not just for Christmas, but I think it's just to get some air. And go out and retouch with Mickey.
And he starts laying a guilt trip on her.
I think he's doing fine though. It's like you haven't seen your friend in forever.
You want to catch
Right.
up?
Girlfriend.
And then, well, are they still
Not really
like
anymore,
really
though.
dating?
This is Mickey.
They're pretty close. I mean, they're pretty close.
So you haven't seen your friend in a long time, and then they come back and they're talking about someone else
Right.
Yeah.
the whole time.
The whole time. Yeah.
You're like, fine, just go with them. Don't talk to me then. Don't.
Yeah.
It's just really annoying. It has to be at least an even amount of this is what's happened over there, but what's going on with you? Like she has absolute no interest in who or what or
But she
what's
always
going
treated
on.
him badly that way.
That's probably why he's still attracted to her.
He really liked her. I mean, ever since he saw somebody looking like her when he was a kid, going back to Father's Day, he I think really loves her, and it's convenient to have him around. She likes him, good friends. I don't think she's ever been in love with Mickey. And it's so,
And also, she doesn't want to hurt him.
right.
She really doesn't want to hurt him. Now, he gets hurt. But it's not her intent.
Yeah.
They all need to read Codependent no more.
I wanted to rewind back a little bit to the Christmas tree. I like the use of the CG again and the practical, because they showed that one camera shot of the practical tree spinning, and it like really cements that.
Like the TARDIS.
This is deadly. Yeah, like the TARDIS.
I love that shot because it's like from the tree's point of view, as it's moving towards them, you can see through the branches.
It's really cool.
Their faces.
And then Mickey gets out a chair. What is he, a lion tamer? He's not a lion.
But that shows a lot of growth for Mickey. I mean, he's not
He didn't run.
cowering. And it's like he's the one who's standing up and fighting.
But I'm just saying,
this killer tree.
The way it looks, the way it's framed, it looks like he's a lion tamer.
Or like
True, but I love that because that's to me that's such.
No, yeah, I
Mickey's
actually
changed. He is grown so much.
You like him in these newer episodes.
Yes.
And then they were able to play a creepy version of Jingle Bells. I don't know if anybody caught that.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool because I think Murray Gold found out that Jingle Bells came into public domain, and then that's how they were able to do that.
They didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then again, the tree-shaped door
cartoon looking. Yeah.
I love that stuff.
And Rose wants them all to leave as soon as she gets back to Jackie's. It's like the killer Santas are there. She doesn't know who they are, what's going on, but she knows that she can't face them.
stay
and the doctor's
there.
incapacity. But it's like, okay, gather everything up, we leave, and what's the tree? It's just sort of, that's weird, that's out of place, that's not Jackie's style, it seems.
But it's very perceptive of Rose to call that out.
Yeah. This also was the beginning on Facebook. Every Christmas morning, I always post, beware the Christmas trees. They kill.
only when they're remote control.
Yeah.
No, is this around the part when she's trying to call back to Jackie's apartment and she's on the phone?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when did call waiting not?
I know.
I mean, because before cell phones, there was call waiting for years.
Oh yeah.
But I can see Jackie not
Just
caring.
ignoring the call waiting. All right,
No,
I get it.
either ignoring it or just not caring to get it, because I think it was an extra charge at the time when this was on.
I don't know how it was in
Who
Britain.
knows?
Yeah.
I mean, by that point here, it was pretty much standard.
But so many things we
free,
take for
but-
granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everyone had
mean,
voicemail,
But I could,
everyone had
but
call
I could
waiting.
totally see Jackie
Yeah.
just not even realizing it's going.
But later on, Mickey plugs in his computer. I'm using the phone line.
Yeah.
It's like, keep track of how long you're on. It's like, wow, this is really a different
I was
time.
waiting
Not
for
only is
that-
it a phone
that
line,
modem
but
noise.
it's charged by the minute.
Yes.
Wow, that takes me back.
Beep, boom.
Okay, back to the killer tree. Rose places the sonic screwdriver in the doctor's hand and tries to wake him. The tree has suddenly busted through a wall and is getting closer. Rose whispers to the doctor, "Help me." He suddenly sits up and uses the sonic to destroy the tree. They all go outside to find that it was the Santas who were controlling the tree. The doctor threatens them with the sonic and they transport away. The Santas had attacked Rose and Mickey to leave the doctor unprotected so that they could take him and feed off of his energy for years. He also says that they don't travel alone, and that means that something else is coming. He collapses in pain, telling Rose he was awoken too soon, and then loses consciousness again. By the time they get him back to bed, Rose can only hear one of his hearts beating.
Yeah, that's why now I realize I thought that the pilot fish were with the Sycorax, because the way that they beam out of there is the same exact way that the Sycorax do.
They're
So
probably from the same solar
Trans-
system.
I know, but visually it told my brain
It's
that,
a cue,
that they're
yeah.
all together.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe they are all on the same ship and just, the crew quarters.
Right.
Did you guys
stowaways.
note? Yeah. Did you guys notice a continuity break? I guess there's no gloves on the Santas, the pilot fish. They
Okay,
Well,
Russell.
They needed to use the remote.
Yeah.
Could
I'm
you see
just
that
saying.
remote? It's the old console remote.
because I thought it was just the guy holding the remote, but it's all three of them. I was like, oh, where'd those gloves go? That's
I don't know.
It burned when they were, shooting out of the brass instruments.
probably because leather burns.
Yeah.
I also want to call them out a little bit on the special effects when when he breathes out the energy when they're on the front stoop or whatever, and the actors barely react to it. Rose saw it happen before, but Jackie has a little reaction, and Mickey doesn't move at all, and it basically goes in all their faces, and it's just a little thing.
I was thinking this time as we were watching it, it's like, breathe that in. People breathe it in. You don't know what it's going to do, but it's going to be good.
It's gonna add 10 years to your life.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. I love how chaos is breaking out in the apartment. Cartoon-shaped or cartoon-like
Cutout.
Christmas tree cutouts are being torn through walls. Everybody's screaming. The doctor doesn't react. Rose whispers in his ear, "Help me."
Yeah.
And he immediately sits up, wakes up, and helps her.
Right.
And so that was a great little character
Yeah.
bit. A bit of continuity. Okay, yes, he loves her. This is Rose. This is special. So it's a great moment, and then it leads to the first real David Tennant as the Doctor scene. And I kind of think it runs the gamut. You've got the serious
yeah.
Doctor with the pilot fish,
Yeah.
the threatening Doctor.
And doesn't he go back and forth with Jackie? Like, it's
Yeah,
not
and
like-
so he has a seizure. So he's having a seizure.
right.
And then he finds the apple in the robe, and all of a sudden he's in a comic relief
Right, yeah.
moment. And then he's angry at Jackie. And then he's sick again, and he's unconscious. I mean,
it.
he does it all really fast. And he kind of nails it right out of the
Yeah,
gate.
it's exactly the same Doctor that is through the whole series.
Exactly.
It's not. They're not like
It's all
he's not
right there.
finding his footing or
No.
comedically or whatever. It's
or his acting choices. I mean, it's all right there on the balcony.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
I mean, they even do that scene later on with a different companion where the doctor says, I need.
Right.
And someone keeps interrupting. Pepto-Bismol. Do you need
Right.
something else? Do you need a cracker? Do you need, what is it? What do you need? What do you need? Right. That's what he does. Finally, shut up. And then Jackie, well, he didn't change that much, did he?
But it is cool that we know who this doctor is on his first outing,
Yes.
I guess. It's like, it's very relieving, I guess.
And he knows what's going on with his body. I mean, he says neural
Yeah.
implosions causing brain collapse.
He just needs the
So he
time.
knows this is all happening. but he can't say really what he needs because
Right.
frustrating.
So when Rose says, "Help me," in the doctor's ear, I feel like that's the first, because you're saying, oh, he does love her and all these things. But I think that's when she finally realizes, yeah, this is my doctor.
Yes.
But not just that. I guess because it's a new person, it gives her that renewed hope of there could be something. Because from that point on, she looks at him so longingly. And when he doesn't, and the way he doesn't react later and he's not feeling well, like one of his heart stops, she literally cries like she was broken up with. Like the person that she loves died.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it's just like, now it's like, oh, I'm in love, oh, I'm this, and there's hope. And all of a sudden, he's going to die.
Is you talking about that scene by the window where she's like, and Jackie's consoling her?
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt that same thing too. Like she was crying like a teenager who just got jilted.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the difference.
But then she accepted the doctor?
You're so... Oh, let's go watch it again. I need to watch it. Wow.
That was good watching again. We're back.
Okay.
Around the world, everyone is shocked when an image of the alien face shows up on the live broadcast of Guinevere 1, because it's apparently supposed to go to Mars, but it got caught up in the Sycorax ship. Rose is upset that the TARDIS is not translating the alien message, so they can't understand what's going on. The leaders of...
Before you continue, there's one quick thing I want to say is that everybody's just going crazy and celebrating. Wow, this is the dawn of a new age. Look what Britain's done. Wow, this is great. And every time I watch this, I go, yeah, you're doing something everybody else did 40 years ago. We're going to have pictures from the surface of Mars. Again. I mean, it's just like, okay, wow, that's fantastic for you. We're going to be over here.
But was this before we got the pictures from Mars?
We've gotten pictures from Mars since the
Pathfinder
70s.
But the more recent ones, the ones that went with Viking that actually landed on Mars.
Yeah.
It was before that.
Viking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Viking
in
was the 70s.
70s?
No.
But the new famous ones, yeah, there's
Right.
Pathfinder,
That's
Sojourner.
Pathfinder, right.
Pathfinder, Sojourner.
So which was
Opportunity.
first, this episode, or that? When we
Probably the
actually
show.
got the pictures
Probably the
back.
show.
All right, well, then you know.
No, but
Vikings
we've
have
had
pictures.
lots of pictures of Mars.
Okay.
We just got better pictures of Mars. now.
Quality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was excited when Pathfinder came back.
Yeah, we were
Pictures
also
of
excited when
Pathfinder.
Matt Damon came back.
Yeah, well,
Wah, wah.
Still, it had been done.
yes. Well, you know the Brits, they get everything a little bit later.
Yeah.
No, I think that's
Technologically.
I think that's the Russians. The 80s pop is hitting them now. Anyway,
Was it just me, or did other people get when Llewellyn was saying about the little break that they had? They lost contact with the probe. And they're saying, it's fine now. Absolutely fine. Everything's fine. Remind
Oh, no, I didn't catch that.
I just hear him when he's doing that.
I'm sure that was an homage to that.
In that scene, I really liked when it was going back and forth between, I think they were on the bed and the news reports. Usually something like that, I think you would see the news reports being a steadier image, where this, it was really fun. They had like shaky cam in the,
Yes.
like on the TV, and then you were there and it was also shaky. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just the different kind of juxtaposition of shots and movement in that little scene.
And
Oh, yeah.
anytime you see Trinity Wells is awesome.
yeah, Trinity Wells, we wanna. She's the American news broadcaster, and her name is the actress's name is Lachelle Carl. So it's good to see her again in this.
Is she actually American?
Yes. I think we saw her on a...
Didn't we confirm that last? I
Yeah,
don't
on
remember.
a
No, I'm not
confidential where
listening
she
while
is-
I'm here.
Where she is American.
I also thought it was weird that there wasn't some sort of like delay, like for S&P. They usually have that. Like, what if something crazy had come back from the Guinevere 1, and then wouldn't they want a delay to be like, oh, we're gonna not show that?
Yeah.
You know,
One, you conspiracy theorist, you. And two, we wouldn't have a TV episode then.
I know. I'm just saying.
But really, what would you think would be on Mars that you don't want to see?
I don't know. I just
Well,
thought people should
It's
scream
also,
what's
yeah,
going
by the
on.
way, it's also been delayed about an hour and a half anyway.
Yeah, right?
The general knew what Martians look like, right? Like
Yeah,
the guy
Major,
later.
the
Or
Major.
the Major.
Yes, the Ice Warriors.
Yes. So they
Which
know
Doctor
there
is the
is
Ice
knowledge
Warriors?
of-
I want to say 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3. Yeah. And also in the future.
12.
They look completely different, and they do.
11. What?
I love
And that was a good gag when they took their helmets off and were just as hideous.
Later.
We're not quite
Okay.
there yet. The leaders of Britain they gather to a secret unit facility beneath the Tower of London. They discover that the probe is transmitting from a spaceship that is rapidly approaching Earth. Alex, Harriet's aide, finishes a translation algorithm. The Sycorax are saying that Earth must surrender.
No, they're not. They're actually saying, is this real life? Is this just a fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
Open your eyes.
Because of
It's so Bohemian Rhapsody.
how they are on screen, the four.
Yeah, look at the video of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's exactly the same.
They
as
just
the
needed
Sycorax.
better underlighting.
Thank you for ruining that scene now for all the time. Or
Hey, if
adding
it's
to
gonna
it,
be ruined
depending,
for
'cause I'm
me-
not going to just keep laughing each time I see it.
You're all going down with me.
You're welcome, Internet. Harriet replies that they will not surrender. Since there is no word of the doctor, she tells Major Blake to contact Torchwood.
Now, when have they mentioned unit in this incarnation?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, UNIT was with the Slovene.
Okay.
The Slovene killed the top leaders of UNIT. And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't, because UNIT wasn't in Boomtown. So
Nope.
it was just that two-parter. They actually filmed at the Tower of London.
They got
In this
permission.
episode.
In
Yes.
this
Yes,
episode,
yeah.
they were actually it wasn't stagecraft. It was actually filmed
Yeah.
at the Tower of London, which is amazing.
They had a lot of locations too, and a lot of extras. It didn't look
Yes.
like it was composited.
It looked really
Like
good.
that one where they're all walking up onto the roof. Looked like at least a couple hundred people.
Yeah, that was good.
Maybe it was all the crew.
I think they say in the commentary that there is digital crowd duplication.
Well, it was good.
That
Then.
they didn't have that many costumes, so you can see different people running around in like the same robe. And I do know the shot of them walking up the staircases that you see from the outside. That's duplicated. They were only going up one side.
I mean, introducing, Harriet Jones, Prime Minister.
Right.
Everybody's just like, yes, I know who you are. It's been running gag from before, so
Yeah.
it's just how she's still stayed Harriet Jones. She gets Llewellyn coffee. It's like, you're
Right.
Prime Minister and you're getting somebody coffee rather than, ordering somebody else. But that's how she does it, and that's how she works, and asking Sally for her name again so she can thank you, Sally, personally. So it just endears you more to Harriet Jones.
Yeah.
This hasn't really changed her, but she's still a strong woman leader.
And there's an act of parliament forbidding her autobiography. It's great. Little touches like that.
And that she knows about Torchwood, where the Major goes, you shouldn't, because Torchwood acts outside
She's like, I do.
government and outside.
I'll take responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. And then the U.S. president says, no, we're the United States. We'll take control of this. And she's like, no. No, we're good.
No, I'm
We
not
got
turning this into
It's
a
like,
war.
Russell has said that in every screening with an audience of this episode that he's ever been in, that line gets the biggest cheer. So, USA, USA.
They'll get there eventually, the Brits.
And we know what a Code 9 is now. It's somehow to do with the Doctor's presence is known. It's like, okay, Code 9.
I wonder if it's code 9 for Eccleston's. But back to the live broadcast of the Mars feed, I guess. Wouldn't there be more panic if that's what the first thing you saw from Mars?
Yeah.
I think of that Simpsons episode where they're in space and the ants go by and they look all huge. And then Kent Brockman immediately goes,
We submit to her.
Yeah, I, for one, would like to submit to our overlords. We welcome you. So I'm just surprised that everybody's like,
Well, maybe not everybody was watching.
A lot of people were asleep.
Yeah.
It is Christmas. They're opening presents.
Yeah.
and, we have been to Mars.
But it was also...
Yeah, and we have been to Mars, so who cares?
Right. But did they have... was possibly a mask. They're trying to put that out as an information that...
Yeah, they did say that it was a hoax. The transmission
You're
was
not
taken over
expecting
by...
that. So
Right.
at that point, you're still going, yeah, right. Someone's saying, oh, Martians, and they're doing a
Yeah.
different version of it.
Which
You
people
wouldn't
would totally buy.
immediately...
Except
buy
Eugene,
into it.
because he likes conspiracies.
Right.
Sure. Wait, what?
That already happened when War of the Worlds
Yeah.
was aired on radio.
Yes,
so-
exactly.
mass terror.
Okay, so to continue, the Sycorax send down a blue light which puts certain people into a trance.
I love the blue light.
Of course, you love it.
It's leading up to this now, hasn't it?
You've been waiting a month for that joke, haven't you?
Since you started reading, yes.
It's Eugene's blue light special.
All around the world, the affected climb to the roofs of buildings and wait on the edge. Unit discovers that only people with A-positive blood are affected. Daniel Llewellyn, the head of the probe project, says he included a sample of human blood in the probe as a greeting to whomever it met.
You like your average blood greeting.
But it's something that we would do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because A positive is not even the most common blood type in.
Did they say why they picked A-positive?
He just put it in there, but then that makes me think, because later on they talk
the
about
royal family.
The royal family. So does that mean that werewolves are A-positive?
Spoilers.
Oh, spoiler. On top of the fact that he spoiled a joke I was going to use later.
We can travel back.
but
I'm wondering, where did he get the blood? Because you would think he'd use his own blood or something, so he
It
wasn't
could have been an
affected.
assistant or
I
somebody.
think they didn't use he didn't use his own blood because Daniel Llewellyn is Mr. Exposition, so we need him to explain things. So to having him be affected doesn't work for his expository dialogue.
Oh, shoot, I was going to say something else about the blood.
I liked who are they?
tasty.
That they did not know.
Oh, in the beginning?
Yeah, the definition. It's like, no, it's the right tense. They're talking about they, and it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, so that's
So
what we were
like
talking
who
about
are they?
earlier, mentioning they. That's the Sycorax.
Which also reminds me of, I think, the most Russell line of dialogue in this entire show, which is Sycorax rot. As in the modern sense of the word. It's like,
Oh, wow.
really? Wow. And it's like, no, that's awesome.
That's pretty funny.
That's just awesome.
But it's a great joke because they call it out and then they just okay, that's what it is.
Well, with all the translation programs that they're putting out now, they're trying to do it with romance novels and all this, so that computers will then learn language.
Yeah, Google Translate.
And they try to do it with Twitter, but then too many bad words, everything would come up. So in this algorithm that he has, rocks would come up as the translation.
Although, there's something you have to accept for there to be an episode, but you can't translate an alien language in about 10 minutes.
Especially with an algorithm.
I mean,
it's
no,
like, come on.
it's just not going to happen.
Go with it.
No, I do go with it, and I'm fine with it.
It also sets
And
up
the more you see Alex on screen, the more I'm happy.
the Sycorax character. I think I like that the Sycorax rock because it makes them a little more not as scary, but what is really behind them, and we find that out later with some of their bluffs.
And also, the algorithm was probably from alien technology to begin with, because of the unit. And they have a lot
True.
of,
Yeah, so
dealt
what do you
with
think of that?
aliens since the Third Doctor
All right,
started unit. So
I'm well and truly shamed.
no, I'm just.
They have a specialist with
with anything, and I started rationalizing.
But the funny thing is, that's a great rationalization.
But Alex
I'm
is
learning
part
so
of
much.
but Alex
There
is
is a
part of
first.
the Prime Minister's group, not Unit. So maybe Unit had a blue light special on their
Oh,
algorithm.
he's on the unit Wi-Fi.
Speaking of Unit,
I'll rationalize.
Maybe
that.
it was
I came from unit and transferred over to her. so
He
that
does
she'd
work
have
for
a
the Prime
contact.
Minister, but this Prime Minister knows
No,
about
sure.
Torchwood, so he has access to everything.
but the Torchwood, the Unit guy is Major Blake. The actor is Chu Omabala. He originally auditioned for the Sycorax leader, didn't get it, but they wanted him, and so they asked him for a school reunion. Didn't get that. Then he got Christmas Invasion.
But it would have been a smaller part in school.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been Giles.
But I like. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I like
now, Giles was always going to be the school
Okay.
headmaster.
You talking about the general? Is that who you're talking about?
The Major.
Major.
The major. The major general. Is he very model of one?
Model of a modern major general.
Oh, you beat me to that one.
Does he know information?
It looks like we're all stealing everyone's jokes today.
We're not prepared for this.
Please
Not a
don't.
vegetable.
Please don't turn the dial.
Vegetable, animal, and mineral. He knows the croaking corpse and the frogs of Aristophanes. He does.
Harriet Jones then goes on the TV and pleads for the doctor to help. Rose knows the doctor cannot help and believes he is dying. As the Sycorax ship arrives over London, Rose orders Jackie and Mickey to help carry her and the doctor to the safety of the TARDIS. Jackie insists on bringing food and hot tea as well. That's typical of a mom. My mom does that. Always pack
You don't know
something.
how long the trip's going to be. I mean, that's Jackie. She would
Yeah.
be prepared.
Yeah, you don't know how you can be
Right.
under siege.
But this seems uncharacteristic of Jackie because she doesn't really seem like a caring person.
Oh,
She's taking care of.
But yeah,
Rose.
but just
She's
before
always
that, she
had
actually
Rose, and
called
it's
him
like-
sweetheart.
and
also
she's
remember
saying
this.
like, oh, we have to leave. We're going this, and it's like, okay, we don't know what's going to be happening. The aliens are there.
Yeah.
Gather stuff. She's not really planning out, but she's. What am I trying to?
But she wants to
say?
keep her
She's-
daughter safe, so I think that's why she's more caring.
I think it's more practical end that she has. It's like, no, get everything ready, go, boom, just grab it and go.
yeah,
We're going to
she's
need
just
this,
going into
and then
instinctive
figure out
mom mode.
what's going on. It's just that, yeah.
But her carrying all those bags just reminded me of my mom. It was like giving me more than I need.
There's also here, I think that Rose had a really emotional outbreak with Jackie over like losing the doctor. And she's already done the same with Mickey. And I think Rose hugs everybody this episode.
Yeah.
We'll see more later.
Hugs all around.
Yes.
Just a couple quick little things I wanted to throw out there. When I watch this episode, I get different reactions. I react to it differently at times. And it's these scenes here that at times I really don't like Rose. When she just gives up and she's so like, there's nothing we can do.
She kind of turns on a dime a lot.
There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can. And I don't get that every single time I watch the episode, but there's just sometimes when it's like, oh, you know what? Then just go jump off the building before somebody else does.
No, she does seem weak after the whole last season of what she was supposed to have grown and done. But I think Arlene really helped me clarify it, and I like her point of view on it, that she just accepted this person as the doctor again, as her doctor. So everything's going to be good, and then just gets it where he only has one heartbeat. Everything's going to lose, and thinking that he's dying, she went at that point from really high to really low. That one is like, okay, she's not as weak as it seemed before you had said that.
Yeah, and it's more of a like she's acting like the teenager she is. That has her first real true heartbreak. So I work with teenagers, so when you see them have their first heartbreak, they melt down just like that.
Oh, okay.
That's their meltdown. It's like everything's off, the world's over. The crying is not just oh, it's so sad. It's a
He left me.
yeah. So and that's how she was crying. It was
Yeah.
like the really ugly face, the big gasps. So yeah,
I don't want to alienate our teenage demographic here.
just saying.
And then one other just tiny little thing is when they're showing the news coverage, they show Parliament, Westminster, and there's scaffolding around Big Ben because they're rebuilding Big Ben because it got destroyed in Aliens of London.
From
So whenever they
Yeah.
show Big Ben in this episode, it's being rebuilt.
Oh, that's funny.
I wanted
Nice
to bring
little
that up.
touch.
I'm glad you did.
Nice little touch.
I didn't even notice.
And just all those
Now you
shots
will.
of the people on the ledge were just eerie. It was
Yeah.
just done
Creepy.
well.
It's very Invaders of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah. For Stephen King.
And they're just going to the laugh of, has the queen been notified? Oh, she's on the roof. Okay. So
I love how she didn't do her homework, but we get that.
Yeah,
great
like
joke.
that's when she poses the
Yeah.
question when she's addressing the world.
Yeah, like way to go.
Yeah.
well, she's there to try and somehow contact the doctor. She has no other way of doing that.
Right.
And just trying to get on the airways. If you can hear this, help.
I have a hard time contacting my doctor. So I got to wait like a week to make an appointment.
So the Sycorax transport Harriet Jones, Alex, Professor Llewellyn, and Major Blake to their ship.
Wait, is he a professor now?
Yes, Professor Llewellyn.
Just
What? I missed something?
we always called him Daniel. That's why.
Oh.
Llewellyn tries to negotiate, but the Sycorax leader kills him, so we don't have to worry about if he's a professor anymore.
Where will we get our exposition from?
Major Blake protests, and the leader kills him as well.
With a Ferengi whip.
With a Ferengi whip, right?
There's your first Star
There's the Star Trek reference.
Those of you keeping count at home.
That was Frank.
I'm glad they brought back my favorite skeleton effect. Because I really like that. It just looks cool every time.
Yeah,
And painful.
Yes.
So if aliens kill you, your skeleton will like show, and then you turn into dust.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Well,
No,
not dust.
Not
Oh,
all.
yeah,
The bones are still there.
The
Yeah.
bones are bleach white for some reason.
In the Daleks, still you can see the skeleton, but then
The body's
the
fine.
body's
intact.
still there.
Yeah, so you just see the skeleton when you first
Yeah.
get killed.
You just
See,
die.
this one was just a pile of bones.
You just die on the inside.
It's like when Mickey Mouse put his fingers in
Would
the
you like to take
outlet
that back?
side.
Jackie leaves the TARDIS to get more supplies while Rose and Mickey try to get information about the aliens on the TARDIS monitor. The aliens sense the advanced technology, or the Sycorax aliens sense the advanced technology and transport the TARDIS onto their ship. Rose steps out and is immediately captured. Mickey drops his tea and runs out to save Rose, but is also captured. Inside the TARDIS, the tea mixes with the electronics of the lower parts of the TARDIS and steams all around the Doctor.
This is the part I didn't like Rose, because it just starts flipping switches. I don't know how to do it. Just switch. You know?
That's a
part
carry on of my.
It's just her. That one I didn't think was right.
Yeah,
I think that
where
was
she's
seemed to
just
be
being
Rose.
so whiny, obnoxious.
But that's
But
that
she also-
indicates to
but
the
then she-
Sycorax how to that they're there.
Then quickly after that, there's a great Rose moment.
Yes.
because I love the door. Close the door, because that that was clever writing, because it adds a bit of tension and a bit of also relief, because they didn't have to put any of that in. The door could have just shut behind Mickey like it did behind Rose, but no, the door was open, and Rose and Mickey suddenly saved the day from what could have been a even bigger catastrophe.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one that's anti-Rose.
Yes, you are.
I know, but
No, and then you guys
I was
are-
expecting you to be on my side. Well, at least I'll have Arlene during my rose bashing, and then I was just hung out to dry.
No, I agree with you, but it's just all how I feel about her all the time, not just in these moments. So
Do we get to the point where
And
Jackie gets
I like Rose. I just think that was not a great Rose moment. She's just flicking it, going, I don't know how to do it. And it just sort of, stop it. You've done so much. But I like her one little throwaway line, which was the answer to everything. When Jackie brings in the tea, and she goes, "Oh, your answer, solution for everything." Which
Right.
How British?
right.
Doesn't
To
she
be
say
the
how
solution.
British?
No, Mickey says that. He goes,
Oh, Mickey
the
says
world is ending and we're having a picnic.
And having tea.
And tea, yeah.
Yeah, how British. That's right. How very British.
You were saying?
I was just saying how they didn't make a very big deal out of the first time Jackie goes in the TARDIS.
No, they didn't. But they did show
But
her
she
react.
show a reaction, but
Yeah.
She stopped and started looking
Wait,
around.
did she go into TARDIS in The Parting of the Ways when she got the tow truck?
No. No,
Okay.
she could have, but we didn't see it as a viewer.
Okay.
So I don't think she did, because they do, when she comes in with all the bags she's
Yeah.
carrying, she does kind of stop for a second
Yeah.
and just kind of, and then keeps going.
Okay.
Because, at that point, they can't stop to have a yes, it's bigger on the inside.
Right.
she didn't say that, which everyone usually does.
Yeah. That's Jackie. She's got to be different.
Here we get the beautiful, I guess not beautiful, but the Sycorax interior of the ship. That's a real cave called Clearwater Caves. It's an old mining place where they mined ochre for the red dye, and they spent like 6 days shooting in there.
oh wow,
I thought that was worth pointing out.
Yeah, it is.
That was nice.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
No.
It's not CG, even though some of it looks like.
No, some of it is CG.
Yeah,
They
some
did
of
do
it,
set extension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
But
to be on a real practical
real, yeah.
set or location is great.
That's
It
why
does
it's,
that depth and does that texture.
And I like that they use a cave, because I feel like these aliens look primitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like
Very tribal.
tribal
Yeah.
bang.
And their entire
hit you.
ship looks like a mountain.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Well, the show in general does a really good job of variety. As silly as some of the characters, like aliens may be and stuff, it is very different from each other.
And I liked, even Guinevere 1, when it hit into the ship, it looked like it was hitting a meteor. And all of a sudden the portal opens up and
like the
sucks it
reveal.
in.
Yeah.
So
With
it's like, oh,
with the
this
whoosh
is different.
sound. Oh. Okay, so then Rose tries to use all she's learned from traveling with the Doctor to negotiate with the Sycorax. As the leader responds to her, his speech switches from Sycoraxic to English. Rose realizes that the TARDIS has begun to translate for them again, meaning something must have happened to the Doctor. Suddenly, he emerges from the TARDIS. He quickly takes control of the situation and tells the Sycorax that they need to wait. He says to Rose that all he needed was a cup of tea. He also asks her opinion on his new face. Returning to the Sycorax, he sees the big button that is controlling the A-positive people in the trance. He says that blood control is only as good as hypnotism. It doesn't have the power to kill anyone. So, being the doctor, he pushes the button, which releases the people from the trance.
I like how we get that Hunt for Red October scene with the translation.
Yeah.
It just goes from Sycoraxic to English, and it's just, there it is.
Now, if they knew that they couldn't actually make the people jump to begin with, why would they have a button to do something that they knew themselves couldn't be done?
It's a bluff.
So the button itself is a bluff? They built this whole
I think the button is the catalyst with the blood to create the hypnotic trance.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's the energy that's going, but when you press it,
it releases it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think
but
it
they're
is
lying.
too much to say jump, but you can't.
No, okay.
If somebody's
I
not,
get it.
And the
For that.
Sycorax knows that.
Yeah.
But so they're bluffing. It's like, give us, we're going to sell half of you into slavery. That's what
Yeah.
they want.
Yeah.
So they're just bluffing their way through it with.
I just thought it was
Hypnotism.
kind of funny before this moment that they would build a whole big button contraption just for a bluff.
No, but I think it does.
It's
it's already tied into the blood.
it's the
what's helping
prestige.
So it's the thing that made right. It's the thing
No,
that
but
made
pushing the button does make them jump. It gives them that
They all step
command
forward.
to jump.
Yes.
Right.
They all step
But then
forward.
they
But
break for it.
because they
They had the
yes,
survival
the
instinct.
survival
Right.
instinct, it overrides it.
Right.
So yeah, they did have it for
Yeah, but they knew it wasn't going to work.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it
Maybe-
might have been the button that they pressed to originally get them to be hypnotized.
Yes, it is. Oh no, that is the blood control device.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm not. I didn't think it was a completely fake button. It's the button that's controlling them, but it's also not going to kill them.
Right,
And the Sycorax know it's not going to kill them.
The doctor, blood control, how quaint, kind of.
Wait, did he say something? When's the last time I heard about blood control?
Right. I'm just like, oh, such a cute little thing.
And then what was that music cue when he started to wake up? It was very familiar to me.
It's the Doctor's theme.
Is it the 10th Doctor's theme?
No, it was from the Ninth Doctor's
Oh, okay.
theme. And Russell dubs it as President Flavia's. She's singing to the Doctor
And I call it the Queen of Gallifrey.
Oh, okay.
because it's a choir.
So it's just a haunting
And
woman's
does it
voice.
Sorry, not
continue
a
through
choir,
the
a
series, or is that the last time we
for
hear it?
Davis' run.
Oh,
But not as often.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's used less and less the more you get away from Eccleston.
So I it's familiar to me from the previous season, not because I've been watching it for even after.
Probably because of the first season, because it was used a lot in the first season. And then it diminishes over time. And then I think it comes back.
Maybe.
When did we
Yeah.
first hear the 10th Doctor's theme? I can't even think of it.
It's the same, isn't it?
I'm thinking it had to have been in this
It's the s-
episode.
Well, okay, this episode, but like, does he have like?
I thought it was the same.
He has the same theme?
I thought so.
I'll have to look that up.
Hello, right now people are looking it up.
Yeah.
They're screaming at the computer or the phone.
And in the scene, the doctor kind of decides or finds out who he is. He's like, I don't know who I
Yeah.
am. And even just yelling at and repeating, mimicking the leader, I don't know.
I don't know.
It was great. And going through what kind of person am I? And then he just kind of jumps on Rose. Rose, you gave up on me. What are you doing? Oh, wait a minute. That was rude. Am I a rude person now?
But
I
he's
thought
a
that was
Disney
great.
fan.
You know,
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And he starts quoting the Lion King.
That's so good.
What this part, I mean, we did have the scene with the Doctor on the balcony, but this is his formal introduction. He is fully formed. He's not sick anymore. This is the 10th Doctor scene, right? What this always reminds me of is, if you're fans of The West Wing, the pilot episode of The West Wing, you go the first 50 minutes of the episode and you never see the president. And everybody who works for them is going through their day and all their struggles. And then in the last 10 minutes of the episode, a door opens up, Martin Sheen walks in and just takes command of the entire room exactly the way the Doctor does. I mean, everything's spinning out of control and the Sycorax are going to kill people, and the Doctor just walks out of the TARDIS, stops them in their tracks, tells them, I'm not going to deal with you right now, talks to Rose, asks if he's redheaded, which got the show in trouble.
For being
Yeah, there's a
But he
ginger.
wanted to
Oh,
be
yeah.
ginger.
But that was the thing that the
Right.
BBC laughed at the people because there's like a ginger appreciation society or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, because they're sick of how made fun of they are, and
Does
they
he
so
have
they
no
complained.
soul?
Like,
Yes, yeah. And
Well, it just goes to show you that people that complain don't actually listen to.
yeah,
what's
and so the
being-
BBC just came back and went, yes, the doctor wanted to be ginger, so
It's
move
good.
on. But it always reminds me of that because it's a great way to introduce the leader of your, it's like have him be missed for a very long time. And then once we finally do see him, write a scene that's worthy of our waiting. And I think Russell does that.
Well, I'm sure Davis would be happy that you're comparing Doctor Who to an American president, a Hollywood president.
But it's West Wing.
I know.
West Wing is awesome.
Yeah, so you mentioned the writing. Do you think is it the writing or is it Tennant's acting? Because
It's both.
I mean,
It's
he
both, but
takes
it
me
comes
right
from the
away.
writing.
Yeah,
But
and-
it is
yeah,
Tenet. I mean,
I'm
he
sure
does
it's
it.
also written for him.
right.
Yeah, and but the thing is, they didn't know. But this was Russell's. It starts with the writing.
Yeah,
It went hand in hand.
because certainly, I know I mentioned this last season, but Capaldi did not get me the way that Tenet really
Right.
captures
Absolutely.
me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm going to get into trouble, but I think that's the writing fault.
I agree with you.
I don't blame the acting.
I'll take the trouble with you. I agree.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
blame the acting on that one because we've seen what Peter Capaldi can do. And at times we can see what he can do as the Doctor. I just don't think the writing is there to support what he has to
No,
offer.
and that's definitely like the first couple episodes of his season. I mean, I certainly felt like he was delivering lines written for somebody else. Like it didn't feel like somebody was writing for
For him.
his rhythms
And
the
his
way that-
voice.
that Tenet
yeah, they
really
hadn't found
fits
it yet.
Yeah,
But I also think it's kind of rare that they hit it with Tennant
yeah,
right in the beginning.
yeah.
That was luck. They were
I bet you they really put some work into it because it was a big.
well, sure. Just like they probably tried to put work in with Capaldi too, and it didn't work as well.
Yeah, but those were different people
Eccleston's-
doing that.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's what makes
Eccleston's first
Russell great.
episode.
But we didn't.
I mean, we get who
But
he
with
is.
Eccleston, it was all new.
That's true,
And I
yeah.
do also feel that you needed a couple episodes to figure out what was going on in
Plus,
Eccleston's
yeah.
character. But it was supposed to be that way. We weren't supposed to
That's
know.
true. It's-
No, yeah.
This one with Tennant,
It's
we needed to be
established.
reassured right away, and especially all the kids who watched the show needed to be reassured right away. This is the Doctor. He's the same Doctor, but he's different, and boy, you're gonna love him. And they had to do that right away, and they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
agree.
Eccleston was very. He didn't say much in the first episode until kind of the end, but not even that much.
Right.
I think Russell had the idea of who this doctor is. He's
Yes.
a tortured, he's a tormented doctor for Eccleston. And then this one, he gave that line to the Sycorax to tell us who this doctor is. He says, sums it up. He's this world's champion. So that's, we already have it established. Even might be a little throwaway line, but it's like it's there, and that's what we're going to have for his reign as a doctor.
Before you go on, sorry,
No, it's fine.
I'm trying to find it in my notes because I actually hadn't caught this before this last viewing. In that scene when the Doctor is talking with the Sycorax, but before the battle, the Sycorax leader says, they're blustering back and forth, and then the leader says, "I could summon the Armada and take this world by force," and the Doctor says, "Well, sure you could, but why?" It's kind of just like a throwaway line. There's really not much that going on. But for some reason, this episode, I just caught Harriet. I caught Harriet's face. And she was and she's intently looking right at the leader as he's saying that. And the Doctor is like I'm just being the Doctor. And she's not
been
watching the
tracking the
Doctor.
threat.
She's looking at the leader. And I think that is important for what happens later on. I think it's a good thing to point out. It's a real subtle foreshadowing of what's going on and kind of makes you understand her decision later.
Yeah,
So,
that's
sorry.
good. No, that's great pointing that out. So the doctor grabs a sword from one of the other Sycorax, I guess, lieutenants, and he uses it to challenge the Sycorax leader to a duel for the planet. During the fight, the leader cuts off the doctor's right hand, which falls to Earth. The doctor still has regeneration energy in him and is able to regrow his hand. He disarms the leader, pun intended, who surrenders, but when the doctor's back is turned, the leader attacks him. The doctor pulls a satsuma from his pocket robe pocket, and throws it at a control panel. This removes the floor beneath the leader, and he falls to his death. The Doctor tells the rest of the Sycorax that this planet is defended. They transport everyone and the TARDIS back to the Earth and leave.
Thank God for Howard.
Yeah. By the way, we're from America. What's a satsuma?
It's a fruit.
It's a cutie.
Yes.
It's a tangerine.
Yes.
It's an orange. A tangerine. A small orange.
it a tangerine?
No, it's
not
a,
an orange.
No, it's a
not
small-
it's a clementine. Like a,
Yeah,
No,
which
it's
is like
bigger
an
than a
orange.
clementine.
It has more of an orange taste than a tangerine taste.
But not a cutie then.
It's a cutie or well, they're the same thing.
Clementines
I don't know what a
are cute.
cutie is either.
it's
that's a
those
brand.
clementines that you can just peel with your fingers. They're
Yeah, but
like,
aren't
It's a
clementines really small?
orange.
no, they're like a little bigger than a golf ball.
I think
And
if
it's
you,
something that I think that's given at Christmas. It's a traditional.
Maybe we're not
Yeah.
Oh
thinking.
yeah, it's all over the Christmas
I think so.
episodes. But still, it's just kind of like just watching this episode. It was like, wait, what? What just happened? What did he pull out of the robe?
What is a satsu?
well, do you want to?
But that's because it's for Britain, and it's like everybody
Oh, I
has them.
totally
It's like
understand that.
like fruitcake.
No,
If
I
you
get
pulled out
it.
a fruitcake here. We all have it, and nobody ever uses it.
Oh, I've
It's
seen
like-
fruitcake
and so-
in Britain.
No, but it's like nobody really
No, I get
uses
it.
it. So it's just there, and to use that to be
Right.
the thing that.
But it
ends
was
the
just kind of
battle
like,
is the humor.
but you're not okay. Yes, we did have the apple foreshadowing earlier in the episode. But the first time I watched this episode, he pulls out something that looks like a tennis ball and throws it.
Well,
and
you see
says,
that before.
"Oh, look, it's a satsuma, right?"
they
and it's
showed
like
us-
They showed it before.
They showed it to us.
They showed it
before,
earlier
but-
than that scene.
what?
The Satsuma.
He pulls an apple out of his pocket.
But then in between the apple and the end of this,
Yeah,
he pulls
the
out a
Satsuma
set.
came out earlier.
Yeah, okay. Still, it just what the hell's a satsuma? It's just like
It's one of the seven
got this-
samurai.
exactly. It's like sounds like this Japanese thing. It's just the weirdest thing. And I know we have American references and shows.
Right.
I mean, we send out Thanksgiving episodes to the world, and they're going, "What?" I mean, I
Right.
get it,
No, as an American, and we are not familiar with that.
but
term.
it is just kind of like just call an orange an orange.
do we all know about that tradition? Do we
What
want-
tradition?
Like leaving small oranges, not satsumas, in stockings and stuff.
I don't know what.
I've always heard that, like, not my parents, but my parents' parents. It was like a Great Depression
Yes.
thing. That they
But
were
it
hard
wasn't
to
in a
find,
stocking.
so it was a Christmas gift.
It was usually it has happened,
But it's a
around-
Christmas
yeah.
motif.
It happened around the Great Depression, where money was tight. So then you would get that in your stocking, and it would be something sweet to remind you that things will get better, kind of thing.
And it was also in the middle of winter, so it was really hard to find.
It's hard to find. That's the
those
other part. Yeah.
fruits.
Oh, okay.
That's what there's.
I'm just used to getting coal in my stocking.
So yeah,
Which
satsuma.
that's an American reference for those of you not listening. When you're bad, you get coal.
So satsuma, clementine, cutie. If you want to,
It makes total sense once you know what a satsuma is.
if you want to know what a cutie is, just look in the mirror.
I will not ask you to take that back.
Please let's erase that.
Okay, another thing is when he gets his hand back,
Uh huh.
he gets the sword, and he says, "I now know what this hand is." And he said, "It's a fighting hand." And he does it in a bad American accent, which he's supposed to. I'm not saying he's acting
Yeah.
badly. I'm saying that's intentionally how he's wanted to say it. And it's just, oh God, violence and fighting and swords and
USA.
America.
USA.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fighting hand. It's like, oh man, he goes all southern. No.
Well, what's also funny to me is that when the leader thinks he was won and he says Sycorax, it sounds like Ricola.
It does. Yeah, it really does. Ricola is a cough drop in the United States. He also makes reference when he's putting the robe on to Arthur Dent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
What is
from
that? Hitchhiker's
that's
Guide to the
Hitchhiker, the main
Galaxy.
character who goes after the destruction of the Earth. He's in a robe the rest of the
Right.
story, which was written by Douglas Adams, who was also a scriptwriter for Tom Baker's Doctor.
Okay.
So it all comes full circle. And he says that Arthur Dent is a really nice man.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun little wink establishing that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is real.
And this just also shows that the Doctor can turn on a dime, because after the Satsuma, he's about to be
Yeah.
attacked from the back. He just throws it, presses the button, and the guy, and
Yeah.
the leader, plummets to his
Well, he
death.
even
He
turned on a dime.
No second chances,
Right.
and it's a serious moment coming from the comedic moment.
Yes.
it's just
Including
they can
the
do it
fact
so
that-
quickly, and it's true and it's real. which is really nice.
On top of the fact that he does this and he says no second chances. And while he's doing that, the guy's behind him. He doesn't stop. He doesn't turn. He doesn't look at what he's doing. He just throws it, hits the control panel. The guy falls to his death behind him, and the doctor's just walking away without reacting to what's happening behind him.
Where'd that guy land?
Which I think is a little bit of the Ninth Doctor in him still. The other Doctor.
Yeah.
By the end of his reign, it's different.
Yes, that's one moment I think that's kind of out of character for the 10th Doctor, but
he says
it's
it
okay.
again,
but it's okay at this point.
Yeah.
I accept it at this point.
I do too.
No, I feel like even later on, like when he's on his way out, he still, spoilers, but he gets that ruthless thing, like I'm in control. I'm the only one that has that kind of power.
But it's explained to me because he's without a companion to be his guide.
It's in him, but
So
he
they
doesn't
show
give in to it.
glimpses of
Yes.
that it's in him.
Yeah.
I think, and I may be speaking a little out of turn about it, but later on in the series with him, he more lets people fall on their own sword as opposed to being actually aggressive.
Point that out when we get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of speculating as to what you just said. That I think when he is a little more ruthless later on, it's more like he's not saving someone. It's like the line in Batman, I don't have to, he's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
That's kind of interesting because you're probably right, because Russell describes the 10th Doctor's weapon is words.
Yeah.
So it could be he lets them hang themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a different attitude. That's what I think we're getting from this scene. Because you only get the one chance. You either leave or I'm going to stop you kind of idea.
Right.
And he follows through with that. Mm-hmm. But on this one, it was no second chances and just abrupt and just that's it. The other time is you had your chance, you had your choice. You made this choice. This is it. And he may not agree with it or like it, but this is the choice you made and we're following through with it. Not as aggressive.
Yeah, this was more of like maybe a more simpler version of the way he's going to be, and that maybe they just hadn't found the footing in the script yet But what he did was basically what this Doctor would do.
Yes.
He hit the button, but the guy was attacking him.
Yeah.
It was just more. Plus, I also
if the
think
guy
we
hadn't
needed
attacked.
we needed a moment because of the new Doctor of like, kick some ass.
I mean, if the guy hadn't attacked him, it would have
Different
they would have
story.
gotten into the ship and left.
Would have hugged it out. So we will see that hand again,
I know.
and
But we won't see the
Sycorax.
the Sycorax leader body or the sword. Mm-hmm. I
is
want the
weird.
sword.
I want to know what happened to those two things. It's like they're probably
Torchwood.
in proximity.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Rationalizing it out. But she says they always gather everything up. So just somehow somebody may have gotten to the hand first.
Who knows? I thought of this with the
Who
button.
does know? No.
With the button, maybe double hitting the button causes them to walk, and then hitting the button once is what stops it. I don't know. That's just something that came.
No.
Yeah.
The better. All seems like a happy ending until Harriet Jones is told that Torchwood is ready. She orders them to fire. Huge power beams shoot up from London and blow up the retreating Sycorax ship. The Doctor is shocked and calls her actions murder. Harriet responds that it was defense and that he is not always around to protect them. She watched good people die today because he wasn't there. He says he has to stop her, and he can do it with 6 words. He quietly says to Alex, "Don't you think she looks tired?"
So that calls back to what you were saying about that look that she was giving the Sycorax leader.
Yes.
This informs her decision at the end.
I think so.
And this is also
That there are others out there.
Yeah. And we need to send them a message.
We're bigger, we're stronger than just this one ship.
But the Doctor pretty much talked her into it without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
the
he's
Doctor.
saying about how many aliens are out there and that we're being
You've
noticed.
And Russell also says that this is his view of Tony Blair and his
Yes, he does say that.
tenure as the Prime Minister. So
How disappointing.
yeah. So as much as he loves Harriet Jones and Penelope, he still was disappointed in what happened with Tony Blair's tenure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So he wanted to put that into this, even though
Yeah,
he
because I
loves
think
the
he says,
character.
I supported Tony Blair. I would vote again for Tony Blair,
But I was disappointed.
but I'm still incredibly disappointed
Yeah.
in Tony Blair. So that's what he wanted Harriet to be
Yeah,
as well.
so he's making a real life comparison.
Yeah.
But what
But Harriet will always make the tough choices.
Yeah.
What makes her any different than the Doctor? Because the Doctor, he ruthlessly just didn't even think about it, didn't look back,
Because the guy was
got rid of
attacking
the
him.
leader.
The doctor
gave him a chance.
choice. He gave him a choice. We've made this decision. You're
You
leaving,
agreed to
never
it.
coming back. I'm taking you at your word. If
Yeah,
you do,
And he meant
it's
it.
defended,
Yeah.
and we'll fight. But he meant it, and so they were retreating. They had the message that it's defended and it's tough, but
Leave this planet alone.
Yeah.
but she's right. He wasn't there.
Yeah,
People died
she is.
because he wasn't there.
Yeah.
He's not going to stay as some other incarnation of his doctor did on this planet. He's not here just to defend this planet.
And they
he's going to
did-
be going off.
And they did attack.
And not just that, I think it's the beginning of showing how as humans we don't value other life as much as human life. And the Doctor is alien, so he values all life as life. Like any alien, so they're like, well, they're not equal to us. So even though they're retreating, she was okay with
Killing him.
I disagree. I don't think it was their life is less. It's we have to protect ourselves. I mean, she still thinks they could have jumped. She thinks that they're going to go into slavery. I mean, the stuff that could have happened.
There's an
and
armada
watching
out
people
there.
just die willing so quickly with that whip, and then the doctor doesn't have that same feeling because he got hit with the whip, grabbed it, and pulled it out of the guy's hand. So that didn't affect him. He's not vulnerable in the same way that humans are. And I don't think it was a lack of respect for their race. She sees it as a warring race that, they're going away licking their wounds. They'll come back.
Yes.
Others are going to come back.
Yeah, and the Doctor won't be there.
We're not ready for that. We thought naively, hey, we want to be friends in your galaxy, and not realizing what the galaxy holds.
And like you said to begin this, the Doctor's fueling that fire. You're getting noticed.
Just watch her while he's saying that
Yes, watch her.
thing. She's just, we are way over our head in this.
And if the Doctor, I think if the Doctor had just shut up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If he didn't give her that little pep
Pep talk,
inspirational speech he thought he was giving,
Yeah.
she wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Time for the Star Wars reference. It reminds me of the Emperor at the end of Jedi, where it's like, if the Emperor hadn't been sitting there gloating, egging Luke on
Right.
to kill Vader,
Right.
We're still a
it's
bit
like,
more,
just shut up, Emperor, and you've got him. But he talks, and
But the flaw I see in Harriet's decision is there's no one to tell the tale of the Sycorax dying at our hand.
What do you mean?
I kind of think they might figure it out. They might.
She killed that ship, but nobody knows
Nobody
That's not why
knows
she
the Earth
did it.
did it.
She did it just so they wouldn't send out the message that Earth is here and weak.
Right. Okay.
It wasn't about sending a message. It was to prevent a negative message being sent
From them
out.
sending a message.
I view it as both. I do. No, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
Yeah.
saying how I've always looked at it as it's both. It's like, stay away. We can defend ourselves.
Well, if anybody, I mean, in another way, it's just like, hey, didn't those Sycorax go to that planet Earth? Whatever happened to them?
Well, they said the rest of the fleet. So
Right.
don't they know that their
they never
ships
came
there?
back. They left and they never came back.
Yeah.
Dead
So-
man tell no tales.
Yeah.
Well, then the pilot fish would have sent the message anyway. I'll burn your saying.
Yeah, right before that, the doctor and Harriet have this little exchange where she says, "My doctor," she realizes that
Right.
it's his doctor.
The same
that's
guy.
the same
So
guy.
awesome.
And he says, "My prime minister," and I think it more so with Eccleston, I would have seen this as being like a reflection of his character, Harriet then destroying the ship and him seeing himself in that. I didn't get that as much with Tenet though. Like, throughout the Eccleston's season, I think he was struggling a lot with, genocide and, who he is. Where this, and I don't know again if it's the writing or if it's just Tenet, but, I didn't feel that as much. Like, I didn't feel like it was his guilt, playing on him. And then that's why he needed to take Harriet out of her position of power.
No,
But-
I don't get a guilt feeling.
No, I
at
don't.
all,
And
yeah.
I'm saying I don't see that either.
I see
but,
it, for him, it's a black and white issue.
Right.
You're now dangerous.
right. And I think that was something like Eccleston we would have felt more of.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that
Yes.
he had somehow like he would have felt guilty about priming this thing to happen.
Absolutely.
Or would he be
I do agree with
more
that too.
understanding of it? Eccleston's doctor.
He would have been
knowing-
angry, but I don't.
Would he take more of her side, not try and destroy her?
He would have been angry, but would he have deposed her?
I don't. And
I don't. That's a really good question.
I think he would have, but he would have felt more responsibility. Like that's why he would have done
Yes.
it because of his responsibility. Where this is his, he doesn't feel responsible for
Right.
her action.
No, he doesn't,
And
not
that's
at all.
why he's
Which is sad because he is kind of
Yes.
responsible for it.
And I think it still goes back to how Tenet altogether is more like, well, I've been around longer and I know better.
yeah.
And he acts like that all
Yes.
the way through.
Right.
Yes.
Like, I know better.
Yes.
And his decisions are the right ones because that's the personality that he has. And it's going to the whole thing. It's like, I know better than you, so I'm going to take you out.
And Rose kind of calls him out on it in the future. You know,
Yeah.
you never think of this, you never think of that, and he, and he pulls that 900-year-old thing.
As you do.
Yes, you do.
All right, then. Later, the Doctor chooses his new wardrobe and joins Mickey, Rose, and Jackie for Christmas dinner. Harriet Jones is on the news defending her health and ability to continue on as Prime Minister.
Okay, before you continue. In an hour, there are already calls for a vote of no confidence. No, sorry, it doesn't happen.
Well, also in an hour, he went through all that wardrobe.
Where'd you get an hour from?
It's the same day. It's still Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
They're
Yeah,
but-
sitting down for Christmas dinner.
But how'd you get an hour?
Or 2 hours or 3 hours. It's still Christmas Day.
Still yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah,
I mean, you know,
it's
so-
something
so-
goes
so-
really quickly. I can just see
Oh.
him. What she started freaking out. What did he say? What did he say?
so,
What did he say?
Okay, so in the middle of you've just had an alien spaceship. Everybody on the planet's been, in people in trance.
Right.
That's what the news is going to be focusing
Right.
on, not the politicians. But Alex is able to get back to politicians, say, "Doesn't she look tired?" And the politicians go, she does kind of look. Do you think she looks tired? I think she
Actually,
looks
but
tired.
if you think about it, though, maybe it was just overheard or said to someone in the press. Once someone in the press gets hold of something like
The
that,
press is covering this gigantic spaceship and the 2
right?
billion people.
But that's
who are
all
in
the people
trance.
who are asking the questions were people in the press.
I mean, I can see where
My
it
point
would
is,
start, but it
my
does
point
seem
is,
vote of
very
no
quick.
my
confidence.
point is, it makes sense. Doesn't she look tired? Would eventually, because he's kind of making a play on what
Yeah.
happened to Margaret Thatcher.
Right.
There were rumors that she was weak, and within a month, she was out. But it wasn't no hour. It wasn't before Christmas dinner.
Right.
But they had
And
the right
and
to-
yes, but it's something that's always bugged me about this episode. It's like it's just too quick.
Yeah.
You would see it happening, just not that quickly.
That's-
especially
absolutely. I get it.
With
It's a brilliant
alien
way to end
leaving
it.
Planet, all the people.
It's a
all over
brilliant-
the world, but
And
Step in the lid.
it's kind of there's a lot in those 6 words. It's great. I love it. It's just by the constraints of telling your
Time.
television show, you had to condense it into a couple hours of her suddenly having to defend herself against a vote of no confidence, which is like a huge deal. It just doesn't happen that fast. But, you get into the whole 6 words and, sexism and,
so after the end of the episode, then go 6 months later, and she's at the press conference.
Yes.
Doing this
Yes,
would have
that would
been
be-
a lot more realistic.
I would
a
have
lot
sat.
better.
Yes.
Do a little tag at the end.
Yes.
Is this the last time we see her? I don't remember.
No.
From,
No.
Okay.
No.
We will
Good.
see her
Or we
again.
should say maybe.
Well, we already gave it away. No.
No.
Good.
Spoilers.
And she's just as awesome.
Good.
After that, Rose agrees to continue on with the Doctor to travel with this new Doctor.
Well, before that, they go outside and they see the meteors falling to Earth while it's snowing. And of course, the Doctor tells them that the meteor is a part of the spaceship falling to Earth and that the snow is ash. So
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
From the spaceship. That
was
was
pretty
blown up by
Auschwitz-y.
Torchwood. Yikes.
Well, that's a downer ending.
But she does lean over and hold his hand and put her head on his shoulder. And
Yeah, then she gives him a big smile, like when they were still on the spaceship.
Oh yeah, she was
That
like,
whole
I didn't
big
know if
moment.
you wanted me to go with you. You
Well, I like that little exchange. It's like everything's changed,
Yeah.
but now it's like, well, no, it hasn't, because I've gotten to know you, and I didn't know if you wanted to come. I didn't know if you still wanted
Well, when
me.
he was pontificating and he winks at her, and there's that starts to build that whole thing.
I was almost wanting like that ding of the like teeth shining.
Orbits come.
I just think after that scene, I'm never going to catch snowflakes on my tongue again.
That
One big difference between 9 and 10 is established in this episode, and that is the Doctor willingly and happily has dinner with the family. Because before 9th,
Right.
he doesn't do tea.
and I think this is the last time he,
No. There are other times when he has dinner.
but most of the time he refuses. I believe.
Most of the time,
Most
but
of the
he's
time.
not as adamant
Yeah.
against it as
Yeah,
9
he's
was.
more willing, but I'm
Yep.
just saying he has refused it. That's what. I
Yeah.
just put that up.
I love how Jackie in this episode is really worried about him. Mm-hmm. You know, the whole time she's like, "Come on, wake up, wake up!" And some of it is, concern that we're all about to die. But before that point, she's still like, "What do you need? What do you need? Let me help you. Let me help you." I love that. That's
Yeah.
a really
Yeah,
great...
she wasn't yelling at many people this episode.
No,
She was being annoying, like what can I do with this, and like shoving things in people's faces. She was like helping too much.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
her-
she wasn't like yelling at anyone, telling them they're wrong or stupid or anything like that.
Her maternal instinct takes over, and then
I guess
she
that's
doesn't need
what
to
Christmas does.
Yeah, I think that wraps.
Well,
up
then
the
and then there's
synopsis
also
anyway.
the fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't fit in his mouth.
No, but I think that was a bit of like, this is still the Doctor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, it totally
absolutely.
is. It totally is. But I think Tennant intentionally kind of made it not
Not work.
Not work.
not work. And supposedly in the
Wardrobe?
big shot, the big shot of the wardrobe, supposedly every Doctor's costume is in there.
Oh yeah.
Previous
Yeah.
to this one.
Yeah, because the fans, a lot of the artists are fans, so they said they put every Doctor's costume.
I'm sure it's in there, but I cannot see all of them.
Well,
and his Casanova costume is in there as well.
oh yes.
Tennant's Casanova's costume.
Oh, and the scarf. You want to point that out? No. Okay.
There's no
I will.
scarves.
I will point that out. The scarf that Tennant is wearing is one that Phil Collinson's aunt, grandmother, mother,
Family member.
family member made for him, and he put it. He gave it to the wardrobe people, and then he was like, they put it on Tennant."
Yeah, he's
a
actually
scarf.
wearing it when he's looking through everything, and he actually pulls his suit out. He's wearing a scarf.
But it's a replica of
Yes.
Tom Baker's.
The
In
later
that vein,
years,
in that vein, yeah.
the burgundy,
The burgundy scarf.
yes, rather than the multicolor one.
Yeah.
That was there too, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was right next to it.
Next to it, yeah.
Yeah. I love that scene. Sorry. And then I love the line that when the Doctor is talking to Jack and he says, "It's all new. It's all new. It's all new." I've never seen these places with these eyes. I love that line.
Like he's gonna go back and visit some old favorites. Spoiler a little bit.
And when he, where are we going? Where are we going? And we're going there. No, we're gonna go there. And he's almost pointing to the exact same spot.
Yeah.
Almost, just a little bit off.
And I like how Rose
Like
is
Kirk, that away.
Rose is kind of squinting, and to me, it's like I don't want that ash in my eye.
Ooh,
Why are we still
Sycorax.
out here?
So immediately after the Christmas invasion, digital viewers were able to press their red button to view a special interactive episode called Attack of the Grask, written by Gareth Roberts, and this also starred David Tennant as the Doctor. We in America did not get this, but you can see what it looks like on YouTube. Somebody has posted it there, so it was probably really fun for the kids.
Yeah, it's just a cute little adventure that I think they did to kind of
Cement.
solidify, David Tennant as the Doctor with little kids. Where it's like, you can have fun with this Doctor. He may be different, but, like him.
He rocks.
He rocks.
And it takes place right after this.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's what it says here.
it does, but there's no mention of it in the episode. He's just on the TARDIS by himself, and he says he's dropped Rose off. And then at the end of the little adventure, he says, "Okay, I'm going to go pick Rose up."
So it's probably another 100 years for him.
No. Also worth
About
pointing
an hour.
or two. Also worth pointing out is that they have Song for 10, which is specifically written for the 10th Doctor. And
Is it really?
What?
Oh, wow.
yeah, Song for 10.
The song that's playing.
When he's picking out his new suit.
Oh, that's not an old 80s song? Oh.
No. The song plays during the wardrobe sequence, which is in reference, Song for 10, which is in reference to the 10th Doctor. It was composed by Murray Gold for this episode and sung by Tim Phillips.
Oh, Tim Phillips. Oh, no.
The last time an original song was written for the series was the Ballad of the Last Chance Saloon in The Gunfighters, 1966, with the first Doctor.
The less said about that,
Yeah.
the better.
You can also find this on the soundtrack. It's also on there, but it's a different arrangement.
That's a singing cowboy.
Yeah, that's one of those episodes that people don't like to... Well, they make fun of. That's what they do.
I'll leave that to the diehard Doctor Who fans.
Also, at this point in the Doctor Who verse, I guess, Torchwood is in the development and is 30 pages in.
Yeah, so this is the first time that we get mentioned. Torchwood was mentioned in Bad Wolf last season as a trivia question. But now, this is the first mention of a Torchwood. They're a real entity in modern day London.
Okay, so only twice before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And the first
once
one was really throwaway.
Right.
So now it's like, because remember, if you're watching this episode, well, who's Torchwood?
Yeah,
you have
wouldn't-
no
you
idea
wouldn't
what
think
Torchwood
you would
is.
just think it would be a thing you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Which might come back.
maybe.
Maybe.
You could
Along
also
with Harry Jones. Maybe.
Maybe.
You may want to even mention that you could go on YouTube and see when the cast was actually on The Weakest Link in Britain.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
That
fun.
was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fun.
Also worth noting, Phil Collinson never saw The Lion King as of recording of the DVD commentary on this episode.
Oh, really? Go to the movies, pal.
Yeah.
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. So would we recommend The Christmas Invasion to a brand new viewer or a diehard viewer? Let's rate it from 1 to 10 where it falls on that spectrum. 1 being a new Who viewer and 10 being a veteran.
So, just trying to be clear on the scale. So it's like
Who's it best for?
the
on
10
that
are
scale?
just for those diehards who want to watch every episode, no matter how good or bad. It's like if you're a Doctor Who fan, you want to watch and be complete. And 1 is either starting it or just it's good for everybody, whether
As
they're
an
new
introduction,
or a diehard fan.
I think so.
Yes, new or diehard fan.
Yeah. You want to start since you started?
No, but, do you want to go ahead?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a 10. No, I'm kidding. This is a 1. I would have somebody right off the street watch this episode.
Okay.
They may not know who Rose, Jackie, Mickey, the Doctor is, but it's the introduction of a new Doctor. You're supposed to be wondering what's going on, and by the end, you figure it all out. I think this is a great episode. I love this episode. It's a great introduction, and I would show anybody this episode.
I also enjoyed this episode. I don't know if I would give it a 1. It does do a really good job of introducing everybody and all of that. I wish there was a little bit more Doctor. Like, I love Tennant, but I don't think we really get the full force of Tennant until the end. So for a new viewer, I would probably recommend a different episode. So I'll go with 2.
2.
I say like 6 because I don't think there's enough Doctor. But I do. You almost turned me around because I did start to think that this is a good introduction for a character, and there's a lot of suspense of what's going to happen, and then he keeps waking up, and he is very charming and funny, and then the end is pretty powerful. And it does have that silly element, like that we were talking about at the very first episode had, that if you can get over the silliness of Christmas decorations attacking you, then you'll enjoy the show. But I just don't think there's enough Doctor. Cool. So I say 6.
Got it.
And I would give it a 5, just because I think you need to be a science fiction fan to like this. It's not someone who's just a regular
Off the street. Yeah.
viewer.
Cool.
I keep going back and forth between a 1 and a 2.
Okay.
I like this episode a lot. I think that shows that we all like this episode by the length of this podcast, because I think it's going to be really long. We talked a lot about it. The Doctor did sleep through part of it, but when he's there, he's very much the Doctor. You get it, you know it. There's the humor. There's switching quickly to the drama.
Pick a number.
Can
I'm
I
going
can I
for-
interject? Can I kind of
yes.
help you? Because I understand, there's not much doctor in this. But what I would say to that is, when we don't see the doctor, are you still interested in what's going on? Are you still concerned? Or does it fall flat?
I don't know, because I've been watching the show up when I was watching it up to this point. I knew about Doctor Who.
Oh,
Whereas
okay.
if someone had no clue, what is this Doctor Who show? Why did they carry his asleep?
Okay.
I'm going to go with a 2. It just misses it just by that much because...
And that's not saying it's a bad episode.
No, not at all. No,
I'm just thinking, brand new. I agree with you that,
Yeah.
and I'm pointing that earlier.
Like,
I agree with Albert that there are other episodes for a brand new viewer that I think would be better introduction. This is close, but that's why I give it a 2.
And
that's why we moved to the scale.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Because when he's asleep, we all know, if he just woke up. Oh, God, if he just woke up. Whereas if someone doesn't know what happens when the doctor wakes up.
But you see that when he does really quickly, when she says, help me, how he can take over, but then he goes back away. So
it's just not as much.
But also, this is a television viewer, and it's like, here, watch this. I want you to watch the so-called Doctor Who. And, I mean, they're going to get it.
I will say that when we first talked about this question, I was like, no, you can't show this to someone. But I could see someone who is new to it enjoying it, but I still hold by my number.
Cool.
I like it.
I would give it a 5. You can introduce this to anybody, and then anybody who can watch it.
We're going to be apathetic.
No, I think it's a great introduction for anybody, but just, I don't know. Nothing new I can think of that you guys haven't said.
Well, then why isn't it a 1?
Yeah, if you could show it to anybody, it should be a lower number.
No, shouldn't it be a 5? Because you can show it to the diehards, and then you can show it to the...
The diehards want to see everything.
No, and that's why the scale we have to just clarify. It's like the 1 is somebody who doesn't know anything, and a brand new viewer. It includes all the ones below it. Like the 10, only the people who really know Doctor Who are going to like this episode, like some other ones that are coming up.
Yes.
Well,
that
that's
are just like, you don't want to show other people this until they're into it.
Well, that's why I'm saying a 5, because it can go both ways for me.
1 encompasses everything.
So it's a progression.
So
step
if you're
ladder.
saying 5,
9 includes 9 and 10.
This is
8
not clear,
includes
Frank.
8, 9, 10.
You were not clear.
do we need to re-record
You were very
this section?
Because
1 means
2.
No, well, to defend you, because we were having a hard time trying to
Thank you,
we had it
Gaffigan.
broken up differently before. And we said that was too many different categories of which kind of person would like this. So we did change the scale.
Because
you were here, but you just weren't listening to me because you never did.
I was just confused, and a lot of things are going through my mind.
Listeners will have this worked out by the end of New Earth.
I hope so, for my sake.
Yeah, so going higher, the 1 is for anybody. Yeah. Going down to somebody who doesn't.
My hash marks don't work.
How about a 1 to whatever doctor we're at? Well, that would be 10.
Let's just say that.
But now the numbers.
Let's just say that the Who Knew podcast is regenerated, and we don't know quite what podcast.
I don't know.
But we will next time.
Yes.
Once we have our tea.
Apparently, I'm not a smart one.
Well, here's the thing: if Doctor Who was American, what would
Bite your tongue? Ooh, that does not sound good.
I was
right
going to
there.
say, what would it be instead of tea? I keep thinking like
Coffee.
Yeah, I was like apple pie, coffee.
No, coffee.
Coke.
A half
Like what is
decaf?
Coca-Cola. Not cocaine.
Pumpkin spice latte.
It would be Dole
What
Whip.
is it's not that it's a tea, because
It's just coffee.
Yeah.
or McDonald's.
Or soda.
Yeah, but we all know soda's killing us at this point.
And we're Americans.
And we're still drinking it.
And we like it. And if you don't,
Just needed
move
a
away.
Coke. That's probably what he would have said.
Nah, it would have been
A Diet Coke.
That's
Yeah,
Diet Coke.
it would have been endorsed, sponsored. Anything else?
Jamba Juice?
Well, you've heard our thoughts.
Oh.
What do you think if Eccleston was in this run? Would he versus Tennant be responsible or feel responsible for Harriet Jones's decision? Let us know what you think. I guess that wraps up the Christmas invasion, and we'll see you guys next time when the future becomes the present.
You just listened to an episode of Who Knew. Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady. You can find his work at theuniverseexplodes.com.
You can find this show in several places. Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcast.
Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher, or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Who Knew Podcast.
All of our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com, and you can leave comments there or email us at whoknewpodcast@gmail.com.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who, the longest-running sci-fi show in history, and especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davis.
Thanks to Russell, Sidney Newman, Verity Lambert,
Ron Grainer, and all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord. Your work continues to inspire and entertain.
We've got a bunch of fun episodes coming up.
Series 2 is really fun. Season 2 for us Americans.
It's Pierce Brosnan? Just pick up the phone and hang up the phone.
What is happening? That immediately made it worse.
Maybe we will leave all this in.
No!
Bring cola.
Moving on.
Okay, we ready?
yes.